I'm Esther Kim Lee, professor of theater studies at Duke. I'll be introducing my book that was recently published, Made Up Asians, Yellowface During the Exclusion Era. This book traces the history of Yellowface from 1862 to 1940. And this time frame was an era in which Asians in the U.S. faced legal and cultural exclusion from immigration and citizenship. So you may be familiar with the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. And this is the act that banned the immigration of Chinese people from coming to the country. And it was one of many laws during this exclusion era that targeted Asians. And this law, Chinese Exclusion Act, wasn't repealed until about 1943. So World War II changes things for Asian representation. So my book looks at what happened before then. So in the book, I define Yellowface as an non-Asian actors performing East Asian roles. And I write about different types of Yellowface characters. So for example, I look at comical Chinese male characters that are so-called stage Chinamen. And this type you may have seen if you're familiar with vaudeville or early film. You may have seen a type of character, this character in some films. I think the most notorious example might be the Japanese businessman that you see in Breakfast at Tiffany's. So in the book, I call this type of Yellowface clown Yellowface. I also look at what I call cosmetic Yellowface. This is something that a character that's exemplified best by Madame Butterfly, often a delicate woman, a Japanese, sometimes Chinese woman, who are dainty and pretty, and they're beautiful characters played by beautiful white actresses. And this type of Yellowface is not for comedy or to drastically distort the face with makeup, but to make the actress look beautiful. But they're not beautiful in an Asian way, 100%, but they're all maintain their so-called white beauty. So for the book, I looked at a number of archival materials. So some of the materials I looked at were old makeup tutorial books, playbills, dramatic texts, and many images of actors. And I tried to reconstruct how and why Yellowface proliferated during the exclusion era. So why did I write this book? So it has to go back, I have to go back to the first book. My first book is A History of Asian American Theater, which came out in 2006. For this book, I interviewed over 70 Asian American theater artists, including actors, playwrights, directors, producers, and designers. While conducting the interviews, I noticed almost everyone that I interviewed mentioned Yellowface as something that they were reacting against in their work. And many especially actors got started in Asian American theater to specifically fight against Yellowface. And they were actively protesting against Yellowface, often literally in picketing shows, etc. I realized that Yellowface has functioned as an origin story of Asian American theater. The artistic movement we now define as the Asian American theater got started because of the need to fight against Yellowface. So after writing that first book, I continued to think about the possibility of connecting Yellowface history to Asian American theater history. So in a way, Made Up Asians is a prequel to the first book. And importantly, the book is Made Up Asians. The most recent book is the first to document the history of Yellowface and to explain what Asian American theater artists were working against starting around the mid-20th century. In fact, I dedicate Made Up Asians to Asian American actors and write in my dedication page that I'm hoping that the Asian American actors would have more opportunities. And I say, I hope that you have, the gates will open for you. In reading the book, I hope you will think about why Yellowface proliferated when real Asians were excluded. What did the Asian characters look like? And what did the audience see when they saw Asian roles being played by white actors in makeup and costume? Well, there were no real Asians around them. What was it about seeing made-up Asians, fictional, literally made-up, characters played by white actors. What was it about watching them and enjoying those performances while in reality there are no Asians? And what was the connection, or maybe the disconnect between what was on stage and what was off stage? Why was this type of entertainment so popular? That's something that I think about, and I hope you'll also think about as well. So I learned quite a bit in the process of writing the book. I have a PhD in theater history and had studied American theater history as a graduate student. While writing the book, I ended up questioning everything I learned in graduate school. What is American theater? Is it New York-based? Is it Eurocentric? And who got to be an actor with a capital A, meaning an actor who is seen as having the capacity and the ability to portray the so-called universal human experience. Often those are white actors, and because non-white actors were not allowed to be cast in principal roles because they're seen as lesser actors. So why were Asian actors like Anna May Wong excluded from this industry? I see my book as re-examination of American theater and how it was indispensable in the making of American culture. I very much enjoy writing it, and I hope you'll find it informative and accessible. Thank you.